Hello everyone, I'm Momita and I'm going to channel the Annunakis who are going to talk about the quantum realm. Now, this is my favorite topic because manipulating the quantum realm will actually help us realize that we are living in a physical illusion and it's not real. And the Anus were the first ones to be able to do so. Those who don't know the history, the Anunnakis used to reside in a planet called Nibiru, which used to be part of our solar system. Nibiru was very far away, probably near Pluto. That planet doesn't exist anymore, at least not known to humans. And they were advanced civilization, what you know as the demigods or any kind of god which has slightly bluish skin or bluish tinge usually are from the Anu descent or the Anunnakis. They had come to Earth, and as for Bashar, they had spliced the human genome to create the hybrids known as Homo sapiens. So we are technically not pure breeds. The Anus had spliced their genes with the Homo erectus species. That's how the Homo sapiens were created. The Anus had special abilities. And as Homo sapiens, we also have special abilities like the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, remote viewing, astral projection. Those things are things that we had inherited from the Anus. But those abilities were deactivated by Anus because they wanted us to emotionally evolve. Now, this is the information that I received from the Anus 2 days back when I channeled them for the first time. They wanted us to evolve emotionally before we start using our special abilities, because people who know the history of grace will know that humans, when they have not evolved as species, they can misuse their power. So that's why they had encoded our human genome in such a way so that as and when we evolve as humans, our newer abilities will automatically activate. So our evolution and our activation of our supernatural abilities are connected. Let's see what the Anus have to say. Good evening. We are the Anus, what you know as the Anunnakis, and we would like to clarify a few things about us. We are your predecessors, and we were the ones responsible in creating the Homo sapiens species. Now, our history is not as simple as being told by the being that you know as Bashar. There are many things that has not been shared yet because we hadn't given the permission to do so. So today we are going to talk a little bit about ourselves, to give a brief introduction about ourselves, and we will also talk about the quantum realm, so that those of you who have activated your DNAs or in the process of activating them may realize the illusion of physical reality and use this information for ascension programming, spiritual ascension, and all sorts of things like manifestations, alchemy, and what have you. So, a little bit about ourselves. Unlike what the channel shared about Nibiru, that is not fully correct. The channel may not have known about us until today. So let us correct a few things. We come from a planetary system which is adjacent to yours, your solar system. our planetary system is not exactly physical in nature, so as to speak, for we are the complement of Sol, which is your sun. The planetary system that you have in your physical reality, the solar system, there is a antimatter planetary system that complements yours. In fact, all star systems have an antimatter dual or a pair, so as to speak, existing. Your solar system cannot exist without ours, and neither can ours exist without yours. We are the dual sides, the two sides of the coin that balances the universe. Everything that you see that is made up of matter has a dual part of it in the antimatter realm. Now, as you know, that if you bring matter and antimatter together, they will annihilate because they are not complementary in nature, so as to speak. This is why you need to understand the quantum realm. But let us finish about ourselves. So, once our species were developed enough to make contact with other civilizations, we had advanced enough, we realized that we can not only traverse all the solar systems, star systems, galaxies, and universes, which is in the antimatter realm, but we could also traverse in the realms of matter. However, because everything that we own or are is made of antimatter, we needed a stabilizing force so that we can exist in the matter state or the material world without getting destroyed. Because by nature, when you bring us or our world or anything, any object from our world into the world of matter, it will simply create a violent chemical reaction and both will lose their original property. So how do we travel to the material part of the universe? That is when our experimentations revealed that there is one metal that allows us to create this balance in a specific way. And that metal is not only abundant on your planet, it is also abundant on ours. And it is gold. Gold is the only metal, especially purified nanogold, that can survive an impact in the antimatter realm if the molecules and atomic structure of gold are reorganized in a specific way. Then it can serve as a conduit for both beings from the material world or made up of matter, or beings from our world made up of antimatter to travel each other's universes without getting annihilated. So, thus our quest began for gold, and this is how we discovered that Earth had huge reserves of gold, and that is how we wanted to begin our expedition. So we created our aircrafts, which were made of nanogold, and we needed more gold to travel to other civilizations and also assist those civilizations, because we also are part of the intergalactic alliance. Now, in that process, when we reached Earth, we had modified ourselves already genetically with a lot of gold and nanogold components so that we could survive in the material world. we had what you know as special powers. And in your Egyptian mythologies or other mythologies where you may have read about demigods, they're mostly describing us and our supernatural abilities. Well, we had already learned how to manipulate the quantum realm, and for an average human, that may seem like a huge thing, especially given how little your scientific advancements has been. So, once we reached Earth, we made contact with your Homo erectus species and we communicated telepathically that we would like to inhabit Earth and use mining and excavation of gold for such purposes. The Homo erectus species had nothing or no expectations, and they readily agreed. Now we realize that excavating gold is not an easy task in the material world. We needed more man force than we carried. So we sought help from different species on Earth, and after evaluating all the species available on your Earth, there were 4 variations of human species that were there during our first adventure on Earth. The 3 others were more primitive than the Homo erectus species. The Homo erectus species had interdimensional traveling capabilities. However, they had not utilized it mainly because they were still evolving. And using our advanced technologies, we could sense that there is a potential in this specific species for advanced development. So we proposed that we could create hybrids of using our genome and the Homo erectus genome that would be mutually beneficial for both propagating the human species on Earth as well as we needing a resource for gold excavation. So it was a win-win. The Homo erectus species agreed, and we ran multiple experiments. Some of them were failed experiments, and eventually we created the Homo sapiens species. Now we won't talk about the failed experiments now. Those would garner sufficient curiosity from others, and there is history to be told in that area. But for now, let's stick to this. So once we reached the truce with the Homo erectus, we created many species, and finally, we narrowed down on the Homo sapiens. However, in our observation, we noticed that the Homo sapiens did not have much control over their instincts and impulses. And because they were new species and they had not had the opportunity to grow and evolve, it was very dangerous for them to use the same powers that we had because they did not have the mental or emotional evolution. They were operating at the vibration of 20,000 cycles per second, which is most of you who have explored the magic of vibration will know is pretty low and dangerous if such low vibration being given power. We actually did have a few Homo sapiens with our full abilities activated in them, and those had caused disastrous results. So we had to deactivate the superhuman capabilities, and we locked it in your DNA in such a way so that when you evolve, your abilities also activate accordingly. So the more you raise your vibration, the more you're going to unlock powers in your DNA. That is the reason, that is the incentive for you to do more work on yourself, for emotional purification, for mental elevation, to get over your basic instincts and to become the superhuman that you all are capable of. That is why this channel and many other channels encourage more of energy healing work or any kind of healing work on yourself, be it on a mental realm or an emotional realm, so that you can become better human beings first before you can use your powers responsibly. Remember, you have access and you can activate your DNA. So use your powers responsibly. Now, coming back to the quantum realm, you must understand that the matter as well as the antimatter world are illusions. And this is what we had realized in our process of evolution. That is why we call ourselves an evolved species. And now we are here so that you can evolve as well. Knowledge is truly power, as is a saying on your planet. So use this knowledge to evolve instead of causing harm to others. So what is the quantum realm? Why is matter or antimatter created? Remember, everything is really the same thing, meaning everything is the source aspect, but when looked at from a specific perspective, it shows specific properties. In other words, you could say, you can look at something not only from different locations, but also from different dimensions and also different vibrations. So each time you change your perspective about looking at something, you will discover that whatever you're looking at is not the same anymore. It has changed, because the same thing can be many things when looked at from different angles, because that one thing is really source aspect. So spiritual ascension is all about seeing everything that you see. Pick any one thing and seeing all aspects of it from all dimensions, from all possible locations, and from all possible angles to see exactly what it is. That is why, for even humans as individuals, it is and forever expedition to discover who you are, because as and when you grow and evolve, you start seeing yourself from different aspects, multidimensionally, from different locations, from different angles. So coming back to the explanation of quantum realm, so matter appears the way it does when you look at it from the 3D perspective, when you are lowering your vibration enough to vibrate at a three-dimensional energy, then that is when things appear like solid, liquid, or gaseous. We would club all together to call them matter because they all can be perceived by human senses. So if you, however, look at the same things that you call matter from a fourth dimension or a fifth dimension perspective, then you will notice that they are not matter at all. They are energies from different angles with specific purpose, doing specific things. Now, since humans have been trained to perceive everything from the physical perspective, it can be hard to untrain yourself and to see matter as energy. but in reality, that is really energy. So the quantum realm is the ability to access anything and everything instantly, because the quantum realm contains everything. It is the matrix which is made of God, made by God, and everything about it is God. So it's like a magic slate. Whatever you imagine manifests. You can manifest energetic things which do not have a physical existence. You can also manifest physical things, meaning having physical existence. And there are many other intermediate forms of existence that you may not even be aware of. So you only know of matter and antimatter, but do you know there are many variations in between the two opposite extremes, and that there are universes which are made up of those intermediate materials, entire complete universes that you will never perceive until you have mastered the quantum realm. So now that you understand about the quantum realm and how magical it is, what do you do with that information? Well, the first thing is to realize that physicality and solidness and everything is an illusion. Now, it can be hard for you to imagine as an illusion because you're used to touching and feeling and sensing those. But this experience of five senses is applicable only when you are seeing things or experiencing things from 3D. So, how can you experience the quantum realm while you're still being a three-dimensional human? This is where we are going to start a series on the different ways you can harness the powers of quantum realm and use it in alchemy, manifestations, or miracles and magic, whatever you can or use to define it. We would end today's transmission here, and we hope that you have enjoyed it. Good day. That was amazing. Thank you for joining me today.